Hey guys, what's up? I'm actually finally back with my 97 F250 with an updated video about a year later, and I've basically completed my restoration project. I actually did a lot of work to this truck. I bought this about a year and a half ago. I traveled 10 hours just to buy this truck and another 10 hours back home, trailered it, and basically took it apart and started working on it as soon as I got it. The body of this truck is always been in great shape. There's really no rust on it, and the paint job was done. It's a decent paint job, but this was done about 4 years ago by the previous owner. And then when I got my hands on it, I basically did every single possible thing that I could do to this to make it as showroom of 1997 as I could, with just a slight modern touch to it. There is going to be a bunch of things I still want to do to this truck next year, and you'll kind of see some of those things as I go along here throughout the video. But here's my rig. 97 F250 4x4 extended cab with an 8-foot box. This does have the 7.3 Powerstroke, and it's also a ZF5 manual transmission. So as you can see, we'll just start up here at the front. These are the clear headlights from Complete Performance. I really actually do like this style of headlight. Everything has been changed over to LEDs on the truck. This is the original front bumper, original grille, and it does have a couple of small little dings and stuff like that, little dents in it. There must have been some type of an off-roading light, or maybe something with a plow on here at one point. But I decided that there was really nothing wrong with some of the parts on this truck, so you'll see some things aren't perfect, but it was kind of nice to keep some things original, like these trim pieces here, especially the back ones. They could have been replaced just to be a little bit nicer, but I decided to just throw the original ones back on because they weren't too bad. The mirrors here I would like to also change at one point. I would actually like to get the door-mounted mirrors, the bigger toe mirrors, but overall it came out pretty good. This truck was Dana 60 swapped. I got rid of the Dana 50 twin traction beam, and I got a Dana 60 solid axle out of a 1994 F350. And because it was a 94, it actually has a different knuckle design. And I also converted these knuckles, if you can even really see in here or not, I might have to zoom in. You can see that bolt that's back there. So these knuckles have been converted over to the style after 1995, where I could run the bolt-on calipers and the bigger brakes. Whole steering system is brand new. This is actually a really cool bracket down here for mounting the U-bolts. This actually comes from Skies Off-Road. Pretty cool bracket there. And I also did, as you can see in here, a reverse shackle kit on this. I did not convert this to Super Duty leaf springs. I did actually just opt to do the OBS springs. But believe it or not, it rides a lot nicer than it used to. It really does ride good, and I'm super happy with it. And obviously you can see I've painted everything. The Dana 60 was also rebuilt. I have new U-joints in there. The drive shafts were taken out. The inside of the axle tubes were all cleaned. It has Bilstein shocks on here. I'm actually really happy with the way that the paint came out on this. And basically just about every bolt underneath that was taken out of this thing was completely replaced with grade 8 hardware. And if I couldn't get one of those new bolts for it, it had either been painted or in some type of way been treated for rust prevention. Because I live here in New York State, and I don't really plan on driving this truck in the winter, at least not for probably the first couple of years. We'll see how it goes, but I really do love driving this truck. And as nice as it is, I want to use the thing. I don't just want it to sit in the garage and only be a show truck. So we'll see how that goes as time goes on. These are brand new BF Goodrich KO3s. I have an old Toyota truck, and I've had 2 sets of KO2s, and I was such a fan of them that I went with their new tire. These, I think, have maybe 10 miles on them. They are a little dirty because I had to go up my girlfriend's dirt driveway. But you can see the tread pattern is, if you know anything about the KO2s, it's very, very similar. But so far, it's been a great tire. The tire size on this is a 315 75/16, which I think matches really well with the lift that I've done on this. It has obviously the reverse shackle kit and then a 3-inch lift on the front. And then I took the original blocks, the lift blocks that were out of the rear, and I replaced it for a 3-inch block. I still do have to actually correct my pinion angles on this. I'm probably going to have to get some shims for them. I have it pretty close right now. And the truck also is actually going tomorrow to get an alignment and have a couple of things gone over. But I'm going through the process of doing some test drives right now. And one thing I really like is I got rid of those stupid automatic hubs and I replaced them to manual locking worn hubs. I mean, these things just look absolutely gorgeous and they work amazingly. So it's nice to have those. And then I'll just kind of lay down here so that you can kind of see what's going on underneath here. You can even see that underneath all of this, on the whole sides of the cab, I completely sanded all of this, and I also painted this as well. All the paint that I used on this truck is actually a rust proofing paint. I used everything from Eastwood. The Eastwood products are absolutely fantastic, and I would recommend them to literally anybody. I wasn't able to do the same on the front side of the truck as I was with the rear, but how I painted the rear was I made my own makeshift spray booth, actually, out of a pop-up tent and some plastic sheeting, and I was able to spray the whole entire truck on the backside. The bed was off. I had completely redone the suspension on it. Absolutely everything, as you are seeing in the video. And I put down Rust Encapsulator Platinum as my primer coat. And then over the top of this actually is that primer coat, essentially. I just have this on the bolt here because this was put on afterwards. And then the rest of it was sprayed with a 2K ceramic chassis black paint. So it's an extremely durable paint on this. I mean, it just looks absolutely gorgeous. On the back here, you can also see I have those Complete Performance clear taillights. I'm not sure if I want to keep these on or if I want to change them over to red, but we'll see what happens with that. You can also see I have the original bumper on here, which might need a little bit of paint at some point, but I mean, it doesn't really look too bad. I'm pretty happy with it. And then here's that 8-foot bed, which will also get new bed liner at some point. All new bed bolts in here. Everything here turned out really nice. And I'll just show you underneath here. I mean, everything on this is just completely brand new, essentially. You can see we also have Bilstein shocks here in the rear. Axle has been also painted here. This has all new brake lines. I mean, literally everything that I could go over, I went over on this truck. I can't even begin to list everything that I've done to this thing. I've invested a lot of time and money into this truck, but this is going to be a forever truck for me, so I'm very happy with how it turned out. Big shout out to Jeff's Bronco Graveyard or Jeff's Bronco Garage, however you say it. I got a lot of my parts from there, and I converted my fuel tanks, both of them, to plastic tanks, so I don't actually have to worry about any rust or rot or anything like that. And then where we really get into the fun stuff here is just some of the stuff that was done underneath the hood. I completely replaced the radiator support. I got a brand new one, had it painted at a body shop from LMC Truck. LMC Truck is also an amazing place to get anything for these old Fords or really any old truck. But you can see this is all completely brand new. This was all sprayed in gloss black to match the paint on the outside of my truck. And you can even see this is really cool. I found these on eBay. These are the original stickers that actually go onto the core support here right on the top. And I was able to find these, and I put all the original stickers back on this thing. This also has a full aluminum radiator on here, which is super cool. I was dealing with cooling issues when I bought this truck, so I went through and I did everything. I even have the Mishimoto hoses on here. Every single hose that's on this is a silicone hose. You can see the reservoir there is brand new. I'm actually going through the process of, as I drive it, you can see it's a little bit low here. It's bleeding some of the air out of the system. I mean, even the heater core lines were brand new. Just super, super clean in here. Really well taken care of. Every single pulley on this is replaced, brand new belt, new tensioner. And if you can see down here, maybe you can see a little better about right there. That is also painted in a ceramic Ford blue paint, actually. And it has a brand new water pump thermostat. And that is the diesel site water pump, which actually is the water pump that comes from the T444E, which if you know anything about these 7.3 Powerstrokes, that is the original engine that International came out with before Ford started to call it Powerstroke in their own trucks. This intake will probably be changed at some point. It's even a little bit dirty. I just put this on pretty much temporarily. I bought the truck with this right here, but I don't really love that it's kind of sucking in hot air, and this filter just isn't really the best, but it is good for now. New vacuum pump, which kind of sucks, but at some point I may actually change this over to Hydro Boost. New brake booster on there as well. And I also have the OBS Solutions hood cover and insulation, which goes underneath it. I'm actually really, really happy with this. Turned out really nice. And I'll show you underneath here. Maybe if you can see this up in there. Yep, you can see it right there. That filter right there is a screw-on coolant filter that actually comes with the water pump that I put on this truck. So that was why, instead of getting the Ford OEM water pump, I decided to go with the diesel site one because it has a screw-on filter on there. So it's just really nice to have it mounted right on the actual water pump itself, rather than having to cut into hoses and kind of do something weird under the hood here. I didn't feel like doing that, and it's super easy access as well. When I had the entire front of the truck torn apart, it just made sense to do that then. And then again, you can see those Bilsteins there. If you're wondering what this hose is here, I'll actually show you. This is also one of the things that's unfortunately kind of temporary with this truck, but that is my version of the crankcase ventilation mod. You can see it just comes off of the doghouse there, and this tube just runs down. It's like a 3/4 inch tube, I believe. And then I have it dumping right underneath the center of the truck right there, which kind of sucks because you get a lot of smoke out from underneath there, but that won't be permanent. I mean, I'll probably figure something else out. And if you do have any ideas on how to route that better, please let me know in the comments, because I'm always open to learning new things about these trucks. And I mean, that's mostly it. There's definitely actually a lot of small things that I'm missing here. I mean, even like the fact that I replaced the fuel lines, the sending units were redone. I went through every single little bit of wiring on this truck and completely made sure that all the wiring was okay. Put new wire loom on it. I'll maybe even try to show you here underneath the truck. But I went to the level of painting absolutely everything. I mean, you can see the new brake lines on there. The frame is just absolutely immaculate. Here's the underneath of it. I'm out here laying underneath my truck like a crazy person, but this is the level of detail that I wanted to have out of my truck. So I've been talking about it for about 15 minutes now. You can see the nice LED lights and everything. But let's give this thing a start, and I'll let you guys hear it run. You can see that ZF5 manual transmission here. Starts right up. I do also have a Kenwood Bluetooth radio in here. I did actually buy the truck with this. At some point I think I would like to have some Apple CarPlay in here. I just haven't decided whether or not I want to go with a single DIN or a double DIN radio. Double DIN would obviously require a lot more work, and I would have to change out a bunch of stuff here. So I might end up just going with a small little screen in here. But for now, I do like this radio. This is an old 97 Ford. It doesn't necessarily need to have a screen inside of it. There she is with the LED lights. Absolutely love the sound of that 7.3. And that's really it. I'll update you guys more as I do more things to this truck. In the future, I may do a Banks intercooler. I did do some work in the interior, like changing the front speakers out, sound deadening the doors, putting a riveted plate in for the door handles, so that the door handles don't break off, all new weather stripping in the doors, did all that kind of stuff. But I would actually like to rip the whole interior out at some point, just to completely sound deaden everything and make sure that there's absolutely no rust anywhere on the inside of the cab. But that's really it, guys. Thanks for watching.